Yo, it's Jasmine.
Hey y'all, it's Diamond. And Shay is out right now due to technical difficulties, but she'll be back. We'll explain later. And we have
Welcome
a
to
special guest. Sorry, Jess.
look. Welcome to New Age Mamas. Right, we ain't used to just the two of us.
Okay, we need a third party speaking.
We have a special guest. So, do you want people calling you by your first name, or do you want people
No,
calling
you know
you?
I don't. You know I go back orange.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
I showed that Jess. I said, which one is his name? Because I'm confused.
Orange is my name, but it's my last name, but I go back orange.
And ironically, it's what you got, an orangish, brownish hat on. I can't really see
Ghetto.
one.
Yeah, it's like 10, something like that.
Right, something like that. Well, thank you for joining us. So we just gonna get right into it. We're gonna get into this fatherhood. Go ahead, Diamond.
Okay, so I'm going to read his bio, you guys, and then we're going to hop right into the questions, okay? Cool. In today's episode, we bring an inspiring journey of fatherhood. Meet Orange, a remarkable dad who became a parent in his early 20s, navigating the challenges of making better choices for himself. He found himself raising his son mostly on his own. Now, as his son turns 14, Orange shares his experience of discovering and teaching profound life lessons. Join us as we delve into the unique narrative of a young Black man in the inner city of Chicago, Illinois, and the powerful bond between a father and his son. Navigating life's twists and turns together. Meet Orange, everyone. Hi,
Woo woo.
Hey, what's up?
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
Good. You're not nervous, right? Because you did the podcast before.
Yeah, I've done a couple of them before, but
I
yeah.
didn't know you did a
okay,
couple. I just
couple.
know one. Right.
I don't put everything out there.
You're right. You very secretive.
Yeah.
You like private life, private life. Well, thanks for joining us. So, let's dive into your background. So, what was your upbringing growing up with your parents?
So I don't. A lot of people really don't know my upbringing because you said I was secretive, but a little bit about me. I actually grew up in a group home, so I never had a mom and dad like that. So my upbringing was, going from place to place until I turned the age 13. I got placed in a group home, and from there, I was been on my own. So that was my upbringing as far as parenting experience.
Mm, mm. So, and then what age did you start being in the group home?
So I started when I was 14.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so before it was just like grandparents or just any
No, it was
family?
just like foster families. Here,
Okay.
yeah, stayed with an aunt for a little while and moved around. So yeah, that was my upbringing.
Hmm. So, like with that, how did your perspective on life and the choices you made shift when you discovered you were about to have a kid, especially since you were in your early 20s and you've been growing up in a group home since you said 14? So, like, how did that change? Like, what were you doing before then? Then you found out you had a son. You like, okay, let me get my stuff together.
So good question. So before then, I mean, a lot of people don't know this. Before then, I was just getting out of jail. I had did a year in the county. I had got caught with a gun on my senior year of high school. And
Wow.
this was back in '07, and I had to sit in the county for almost a year. I got out, got probation, um, graduated high school in '08, and then in '09, that's when I found out my son was finna be born. So once I found out my son was finna be born, I'm just like, listen, I gotta grow up. No more of this like trying to be the tough guy. Growing in a group home, it kind of give you this persona that you have to like prove yourself to people, prove yourself to society, like get caught up in like blending in with everybody, and then just being on the defensive side, like so that would like lead into like if I had a father to tell me like, no, don't do this type of stuff,
Hmm.
I wouldn't would have went through half the things that I went through. So I'm big on that with my son, like, being there in his life.
Well, that's good because That sounds scary and rough. I'm not gonna lie to you. So, and then will you, a lot of people don't know on here, but you end up going to college with your son too. I just want to get him a little bit more background about you. You end up going to college with your son and you were raising him down there really kind of by yourself. And
Yeah.
like, how was that really? You know, a lot of people discuss about like single mothers and they don't really talk about single fathers. Like, so how was that? And then you're in the college and you were already doing things on your own, but now you have to raise a young man on your own. So like how was that down at school? Like where did you get help from?
Yeah, so my thing is I just wanted something different from myself and like, to give myself and my son a chance. So it was scary to transition, like just up and leaving and going to like a college town. But I'm not sure if a lot of people know that I actually came down there with my son's mother. And
Oh no, I didn't know that.
yeah, we came down there and she was only there for like a semester and she like, I'm going back to Chicago. This ain't for me. And I was like, cool, just leave my son because I always just wanted to be there for him and I know it was safer down there. So that's pretty much was my transition to Western. I actually found out about Western through one of my frat brothers, Twine. But at the time he wasn't my frat brother. We went to high school together. And he was in
Mm.
a grade younger than me. So he was like, "Yeah, come down here. I'm down here," and I'm like, "Cool. I'll come check it out, visit." And I end up going there.
Mm.
Yeah.
So how was that time like raising your son on your own while in college?
Well,
Because I left like
of
that.
course, you had to get a routine. Figuring out daycare plans. I tell my friends was like my biggest like olive branch as far as like help, and even like getting to the point of like making friends down there because I didn't know anybody. I just had to go off like, is this a good person? Is this somebody I want to have my kid around? And I ended up meeting a good circle. We had the parent group at the time.
It was
We
a parent group.
it was a parent group. Yes, it was a group of girls that had kids. I got cool with them. We switched days. Like, okay, this your weekend to go out. Cool, y'all go out. This my weekend to watch and we get pizza. So it really worked out. That's like the first year down there, and then like I got like a lot of friends, and like they really came through.
And you know, a lot of people really don't understand like community or even speaking up. Like some people are like moms, dads, maybe really dealing inside like this is hard, I'm overwhelmed because
Hmm.
I be getting overwhelmed too. Like so, and I know like it gets overwhelming. So especially when you in school, you trying to provide, you got to go to work. You know, like some people don't speak up and say like, "Hey, I need help," and
Yeah.
or they don't really use the people that they have around you. Like if your friend or a cousin or anything says like, and you trust them, and they say, "Oh, hey, I'll watch them for an hour. I'll take them." To the store real quick so you can get some time for yourself. I feel like use it and
Mhm.
really make sure you utilize your community because this is what people are here for.
Yeah, I mean, balance was like you really, what I'm saying, as a parent in college, you really have to find balance as far as like, making money, feeding, providing, still having a social life, making time for school, and still being a parent on top of all that. So it was challenging. I could share stories. One of my stories is when I was down there. I didn't have a car. We come into a new town. As you know, the buses didn't go everywhere in Macomb.
Yeah.
So his daycare was like maybe like 9 blocks at the time. And what I would do is like my son was so little, he was only like 3. I'll put him on my shoulder and we would play I Spy, like point stuff out through the yard
That's cute.
at the same time, just to take from his mind, like, dude, we're walking 9 blocks to daycare to drop you off. So and that was a moment where I had to like have a job and go away from him for a little while. My friends watched him, so it was tough times in Macomb, but I got through it.
You did. A lot of people don't know you have your bachelor's, your master's, and you have a very successful
Yeah,
career.
yeah.
And so you're a very prime example of just the circumstances that you were put in when you were younger and the situations the hand that you were dealt, you can be successful and overcome the stereotypes or just overcome anything that you would put through. So like you're so kudos to you because you're a
Appreciate
huge example. Like a lot of people don't know, like you're very successful.
it. Yeah.
And so yeah, so going into that, um going into that, so we also know that there's a stigma on fathers who are not active, but you obviously you said like you've been very active. So with the involvement with you and your child's mom, are you all cool now? Is things like 50-50? Especially since now your son is 14, like how are things going in that relationship?
Yeah, so like everybody always get this stigma, like, oh, they're into it, but we always been cool, you know. I never downplayed his mom. His mom is an awesome woman, you know what I'm saying? A great mom. I could never take that from her, or never would try to take that from her. My whole issue was that I wanted to be there for my son. Like I said, I didn't have a father, I didn't have a mother. So like the chance to like have a family always meant like the most to me.
Mm.
So that's something I like strive for still to this day to like have like that nucleus family where like, you know, I walk in the house and all the kids run up like, hey dad, you home? So I always wanted that, you know, and I take pride in being a father.
Just
Yeah.
I'm big on one kid for right now.
Yeah. I mean
Yeah,
one's
all the kids run up. That's what's all. What's a lot?
I don't know what's a lot. I'm only got one, but
How many haven't you want more?
yes, I do want more. The thing is like starting over now because it's like I always
Yeah.
tell my son like, man, I have some more kids. You'll be the father. Yeah, but it's like you know, like me and my son, we kind of like grew up together. So like him being 14, like you know, it's different now. Uh, he's finding himself. You know how boys do. You know how women do. We had this point where we find ourselves. So, you know, my son used to always say like, my dad, my best friend. And
Oh,
so the other day I hear him tell a story. He was telling like, oh, AJ, my best friend. I'm like, I'm not your best friend.
that hurts your heart. Like,
Because I'm like, oh man, like this dude is, you know, but he's getting his own friends, you know, he's making, you know, those critical decisions in life. So, you know, I'm proud of him.
that's so cool, especially since you said like now he's making his own friends and standing out. So, what's like a funny or memorable moment before he turned 14, about to go on 15? Like anything funny in his preteen years that's just like this is a story that you'll always tell. Because you know how like some people like, yeah, I remember when you was younger. It's like that one
Mm.
moment that stands out that somebody will always tell.
Oh, you know, for me, it's like that age between like maybe 3 or 7 was like those precious years for me.
Okay.
Uh, I never forget like the first time he lied to me, but he didn't know he was lying to me. Like kindergarten, and it was like the summer, like hot outside, and here he is with like a scully on his head. I'm like, dude, why you got a scully on his head, on your head? And he like, I just like the hat. And I'm like, oh, because my son has never lied to me. So I'm like, all right, let me, because you know you got the curly hair. I'm like, let me fix your hat and show you how you should wear it. And here come gum falling from his, and he knew what supposed to have gum in school, and the teacher had already told him about the gum. So that was like the funniest moment to me.
You probably was shocked, like,
I
you
was
lied.
heartbroken. I was heartbroken. I was like, oh my goodness, he lied to me. Yeah.
How do you handle those moments, especially since because me and Diamond we have toddlers, so like I just feel like toddlers are sneaky anyway. But but like, how do you handle those moments when they do like lie to you, or you just or they're giving you a hard time? Like, how do you, especially as a dad? I feel like
Those,
dads are harder than
yeah,
moms.
yeah, and I am kind of like a tough cookie because I got like so much high expectation for him, but like I have to take the time and really for me understand my son as he's not me.
Mm.
So he won't think like me, or you know, he won't act like me his own person. We have those conversations where I'm big on like talking to him, like, dude, you can trust me. But it's the fear of like getting in trouble that will always like steer them from like being honest with you sometimes. So even though I get mad with some of those conversations, it's just like a deep conversation. Like, dude, you don't have to lie to me. Just tell me the truth. And then he at that age where he playing sides too. Like he'll tell his mommy one thing or tell his dad one thing, and now it's like, oh, but he told me this. Oh, he ain't telling me that. So in
Oh,
case you come in with me and her, and I'm like, and we do well at that, telling each other like, oh yeah, he doing this. So
wow. That's
Yeah,
deep.
we ain't ready for that yet. Like
I'm
we ain't there.
yeah.
So as he started growing up, how did you prepare yourself to handle from a basically jumping from a toddler to a teenager?
You know, honestly, you never prepare on the first round. It's always like something new for you. Um, I do have older friends. I ask for guidance. I ask for help. Get perspective on things, and that has helped a lot. For me, because I'm like the oldest one in my circle mostly, so all my guys look up to me as like a father and ask me for advice.
mm,
Being the one to like have to give advice. So I just tell them like, be truthful with yourself, be truthful with your kid, love them, but it's not gonna always be perfect. Like
right. Oh, that's the scary. Like it isn't always gonna be perfect, and you are gonna mess up, and it's just like you like, dang, I'm messing up, and this
Mhm.
kid is relying on me. But
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
also taking the pressure off ourselves because it's like I feel like once I grew up, I learned like, yeah, my parents aren't perfect. Like you know how you grow up with that perspective, thinking these
hmm
adults are perfect, and we kind of idolize it.
hmm
And I started learning like that was so bad. Like, no, they're actually just humans, and we don't see them as humans because
yeah,
they've been leading us our whole lives.
yeah.
So, especially so you have a young man. So in society today, like what are the challenges so far that you've been seeing raising him in society today? Like
So,
dealing
so the
it's a
big,
lot going on.
it's a lot going on. Um, the biggest challenge right now is the other kids and the influence that they might have on your kid, the environment. Um, this drill music. Oh my goodness, I feel like it's a poison
Oh,
to the
that's still a thing? I
yeah.
didn't know that was
You say it's still a thing?
I didn't know that I
So
don't listen to it.
yes, in our era, it was coming up and coming the drill rap. Like it wasn't like something we really like took serious. But now these kids are actually like believing like, hey, this stuff is
Hmm.
cool and this is the things to do. You know what I'm saying? Or dress like this or be like this person. And music influenced people, and that has been an issue. My son said, "Hey, I want to rap and sing." He think he ride wave right now, and I'm like, "That's cool." I'm push every dream you want. I bought him a MacBook, brought him the
Uh,
studio equipment, and
now that's dope.
so I'm pushing that narrative for him. But anything he want to do, I'm gonna introduce him to him. But I'm still try to like guide him to like the right steps. Like, yeah, you can do it this way though, or you can do it that way. So, but yeah, that's like my biggest challenge, and like trusting them around other kids and making sure they're not showing him anything.
Stuff they're not supposed to.
Yeah,
Right.
Do you like so is he allowed to have social media?
yeah, yeah. He is.
Okay.
He is
When
now. We
what
have
age?
problems with social media.
I bet.
We didn't.
Cuz I feel like that's a huge Sorry for anybody listening. I dropped my iPad. But that's a big issue.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a big issue, and
Monitoring him on it, like, or are you like, yeah, how's that
you
going?
know what? I was like monitoring them on it, but they do some new things, which is crazy. So unlike us, they share their password and username with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going through the DMs, which hopefully he don't see this. I was going through the DMs, and a couple people like, "Oh, this is KJ, or this is such and such." I'm on. He called himself To. I'm on To IG, and I'm like, dude, why are y'all doing that?
Mm-hmm.
So
Because
Yeah.
nobody used to have our stuff. Now they share with everybody.
they share it with everybody, and he like, "Oh, that wasn't me. That was such and such saying this to her," and I'm just like, "That's weird, dude."
Why don't they have their own page?
They all have their own page. They just share it with each other.
They be on each other pages.
Yeah, they
Like
be on each other pages,
Messaging
posting
other
that's
people.
themselves and
nosy, probably seeing who in each other
seeing
messages.
who each other DM. And I'm like,
Mm,
this is crazy. And it's like, it's so many platforms that it's getting kind of hard to keep up with. It's
definitely.
distro. Like I took his phone one time, he was texting some girl from a game app, and I'm just like, dude, I can't keep up with all this.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah,
Like I know you like what to look for,
yeah,
and and now you can take apps off your home page, so it can be the app can be there. But if you don't
yeah.
know the app name to look for, so especially like I know you talked about like taking his phone. Like so, how do you go about with trust? Like how do you go about okay, I'm trusting you, but then also I need to really monitor what you're doing, where you going. Like so how do you balance between trust, letting him know like hey, I trust you,
Hmm.
and but then also like hey, I really just need to check to make sure you in the with the right people.
Yeah, I mean, so like I said, me and my son grew up with each other, so we know each other. Like he know when he get a place, call me, let me know how it looks. If he needs something, call me. Of course, I'm tracking him through the find my phone at all times. It was one point where like I just had a phone and we was sharing, so like everything he did on his phone mirrored to mine.
Uh-huh.
So, that was pretty cool, but until it got not cool because it was like little girl sending pictures to my phone, and I'm like, what?
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
yeah, it's time for you to actually get a number and like do your own thing. But I always raise my son realistically. So what I mean by that is like, and forgive me. I always tell my son this, like, I'm not raising a kid. I'm raising you to be a man. Although, I let you do the kid things like Christmas time come around, it was got to a point where I let him know, like, hey dude, I'm doing this for you, you know what I'm saying? Or I'm taking care of you. Not to like throw Santa off, but I'm letting you know like everything that goes on in your life, I'm making this happen for you. So be a little more appreciative of things.
Right.
'Cause like y'all know as a parent, kids don't get to see the back work that goes on. All they know is that when I wake up, there's Wi-Fi, like there's water. They don't know that this stuff costs. Like,
Right.
and they don't know what you do to make sure that is there. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I always had those conversations with my son, like, man, I had high expectations for you. So like, I gave him a debit card so that way he can manage money. I'm
That's
actually
good.
teaching him how to drive right now. So it's like, dude, when it comes time for you to get your license, you'll be well prepared.
Right.
I always call myself a late bloomer because of my upbringing and not having someone to like guide me. So
Hmm.
I try to put my son in like a predicament where he can have like an advance. So right now, we just put him in a school where if he goes like for the summer, every class he have a bachelor's coming out of high school, which would save me a lot of money. The school pays for the tuition, like a partnership
Wow.
It's
in
good.
Indiana. And I'm like, dude, if you could get a bachelor's out of high school, I could just send you to grad school, law school, or whatever.
Mhm.
Right.
We had those type of conversations, but he's still a kid. The kids ain't
Yeah.
thinking about that.
He thinking about having go have fun with his friends and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is normal for his age, so we can't blame him. Like
Yeah, because he
that's
only
cool.
It
freshman,
is,
right?
but it's like like I said, it's a balance thing because it's like, oh, I always want to hang with my friends. It's like, dude, it's time to do stuff with your parents.
Hmm.
Are
Yeah.
you having that because I remember once I got like in high school and got my set of friends, it was I'm hanging out with my friends. Like,
Right.
nah. Especially if like if you already don't have the routine of like, oh, on these nights we do family dinner or game nights with my family or whatever, then if we don't already have that in the routine, it's kind of like, oh no, I see you when I
Yeah.
see you.
Yes.
Like, so are you seeing him more like, yeah, no, we don't have to hang out?
Yeah, that's next weekend. And he was like, oh, I'm going to my friend party. Well, through I'll catch you the next weekend because the school that we transferred to is out there by his mom. So he been with his mom since he been going to that school, which was like last August.
Hmm.
So I get him on weekends right now, and he just like, oh, can AJ and EJ come over this weekend? And I'm like, who's these kids? You know what I'm saying? Like, And
Like,
I
no.
still try to be that cool dad and let them come. And just to meet them and bond with them. So it's been cool. You always want to see who your kids hang around with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. And see, they parents, like, see what's going on.
Okay,
How
I
are
need to meet
you?
your mama, everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
How are you with letting him go to other like friends' house and spend the night? Because I don't know, like, I'm not there yet. Me and I'm not there yet, but I'm not a big fan. Like when he turned 8, can I go to the sleepover? No, not unless I personally know that. Like I'm just not with it. I don't know why
Yeah.
I'm
So
not with
it's
it.
it's really been like honestly, it's really been like friends, my friends, like they kids,
Yeah.
like cousins and they kids. It really hasn't been like no random like spend a night at each other's house because the thing is they all want to be on the game. They rather be on the game and talk in cyber world than spend a night right now. But I am old school, so I'm like meet the parents, and it always be weird because their parents might be older. I'm like, dang, I don't have kids, and they look at me like, oh, you kind of young. And yeah, like, oh,
You like I had my baby in the 20s. When
you
y'all?
feel me? So I'm looking forward. So when my son turns 18, I'll be 39. So it's like cool.
Oh yeah, so you still gonna be the young dad, young
Yeah,
dad.
yeah.
So how I know you said you have those open discussions, but like how does one go how do you think one should go about talking about their kid about racism, bullying, police conduct, especially him being a young black man and like you said he's in different states and hanging out with different people. Like how do you really sit down and discuss these heavy topics?
You know what? We do have these topics. I pray to God, and I'm so thankful that I have never been pulled over with my son in the car, like ever. Now, I know he have with his mom, but I always express to him like, do the right thing. Notice when this going on, when that going on. I let him know like it's scary out here, so make the right decisions. Um, yeah, I mean, when it comes up, we just have those type of discussions. We try to discuss political stuff, which he's not into right now. When it comes to the rap, I tell him like, yeah, it's cool. Listen to that. Just don't believe in what they saying, like. So
Okay. Because I always wonder, especially like with bullying, because I feel like they're at the prime age where stuff like that happens, especially because they're so easily
yeah,
influenced what other kids are doing. And it's just like, I feel like bullying is like a real big thing.
yeah. My son went through that period. It wasn't really bullying, but yeah, I guess I would say it was bullying. My son light skinned, curly, and some dark skinned kid was like, you gay. And I never forget, because my son probably was in fourth grade. He came home, he said, Daddy, am I gay? And I like spit my water out, like, what you say? Like this kid said that I was gay. I'm like, dude, don't listen to that, you know what I'm saying? But come to find out, my son is really a fighter. And this is where we clash because he always say, oh, he hit me first.
Mm.
Well, wait, like you provoked him to hit you. I know you do because you wanted to fight him. Because he on that light skin, I got to prove myself type of stuff. So he tests me a lot. Like, I told him like one time he was getting out of school at 3:05. And I told him, I don't care what your teacher say. If you're not at that door at 3:05, you better be there. And the next day I get a call because this dude done walked out of the class. So you said at 3:05 be outside. I'm like, dude, you know what I meant, dude.
My
I'm
daddy said you gotta let me go.
going to go. But kids will definitely test you, man.
So with other conversations, so have you and your son had the birds and the bees talk, and how did you go about handling that?
Oh, absolutely. My son is girl crazy right now. Like
Oh my goodness.
it's ridiculous. Like everything is like, what girl this, girl this. The funny part is, because I told him like, dude, don't be, giving your all to these girls because every other month it's a different girlfriend. And I just be like, I told you, dude. But he's at that. Like I said, he's found it in himself. That's what I was getting at. So the door closed more. showers a
Uh,
little longer. I'm like, oh, this guy. You know what I'm saying? He
oh my goodness.
asks me questions. I have got him like condoms for protection. So
You like rather be prepared, be realistic, like
yeah, I don't want to be no young grandfather. It's a possibility, but I don't.
So with that, is it appropriate time to start that conversation, or do you wait till you start noticing behavior changes? So do you wait till you start seeing longer showers and the door being closed, or
You
do you have it beforehand?
I mean, we had it beforehand. A lot of our conversation come from my experience as well. I started having like sex at 12, so I'm like, I know what kids doing
mm,
at that age. You know what I'm saying? And I joked with him like, you kind of a late bloomer, where I was and where he started. So he feel like he got something to prove to me, but
mm,
like I said, I'm realistic with my son, and like we really had those dope conversations because like I want to raise him to be like the best man that he can be. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. So do you like when he do have a little girlfriend, like say if he's serious about like, no, I'm serious about this one, you show him like, okay, this is how you treat her, this is how
He's
you
serious
court her.
about everyone. Like
Oh, he
he's
a lover boy.
a lover boy. Yeah, he's serious about every girl he come across, and I just be like, oh my goodness.
Oh my
And
goodness.
I try to tell him like, "Dad, be that man."
You
So
like I
like
need your focus elsewhere.
elsewhere, but I take pride that he get A's and B's. He does what he need to do. So I'm like, do it. Have fun. Just stay on your P's and Q's.
Yeah. See these topics like the birds and the bees and like these other topics, I just like, whoo,
Yeah,
that's
that you have
that's
a boy as well.
Yeah, yeah, I
Okay,
have a boy.
okay, so y'all know y'all have to protect them from these little girls because these girls are
Woo,
a trip.
I'm not ready.
A
And that's
trip.
the thing, like, so with that, with me and Jazz being both females, do we
Mhm.
leave the conversation up to the fathers to do?
yeah. Like
I,
how should
Like
we
both
go
are
about
therefore
things?
like Jazz partner is like involved and my partner is involved in like they not not there. Like we're not single mothers is basically what I should say.
I mean, from the beauty is that you can speak from a woman perspective to your son, as the father can speak from a father perspective to the son. So I think that's the beauty in it. Um, those are critical conversations for anyone to have. I always look at it like this: if I was doing it by myself, I still would want to have this conversation with him. Like, even if I had a daughter and it was time for her to like start a menstrual cycle, I would want to have that conversation with her still because it's like I want my kid to know that I'm there for them. I'm
Right.
there for you.
Yeah. And you know what? I think now that I'm thinking, I'm like, well, parents, I feel like back then didn't know, but I don't think I had those conversations with my parents. Like, I don't think we had the birds and bees. Like, I learned about like sex ed from school, like
Right.
from taking it from having to take the class. I learned about like bullying and like social media. Like back then our phones were being new and different, so they don't know what we own. They don't know what tagged was and MySpace. They
Our,
don't know.
our generation, I love our generation because we like more in tune with like ourselves and the world. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like when it comes to like our parents, there's really like I'm gonna go with like take us. Now you do have some that's like, oh, I want to do this in life and became that, but also our parents was like working and trying to make ends meet. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like, okay, I understand you my parent, but raising yourself, like
Yeah.
like, dude, I was traveling all over the city at age 11. Like, I could get anywhere, take the bus anywhere. And he's like, "Oh, I don't know. I stay 2 blocks off King Drive." And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, you do." You know,
You like you did. Yes, yeah, I agree. Cause like with I was able to take the train and the public
yeah,
transportation now. Like I feel like if my son grow up, he's like, you want to take? Oh, I'm about to take the train. You about to take what? Nah, I'll go drop you off.
yeah,
Okay. But
yeah.
that's
Depending on what
also
it is.
yeah, but that's because like this world is changing. Like it's getting very dangerous. It used to be okay for us to sit on the porch and sit late at night and our grandparents or our parents can watch us from the house. Like, no, this you
Yeah.
can't let your kid go outside to play for a minute. This
Listen, we knew everybody on the block. With now,
Yep.
uh-huh.
I've been over here 5 years.
Everybody on
I
the
probably
block
can tell you two of my neighbors' name. Like we do not, people do not talk.
don't
People
talk. Uh-huh.
don't do anything, and it's just a defense mechanism, protection, and it's like,
It
man,
is.
this person
Hmm.
don't know what I got going on, then maybe he won't bother me.
Right. In a
Yes.
way, like this word is coming up. Like parents are really changing. Like, don't get me wrong. I just had a baby 3 years ago, so my child is 3. But parents, like for real, like I noticed people in my generation that has kids nowadays you can't say nothing to that kid
Oh
versus
no,
back in the
absolutely
day
not.
everybody was raising that kid. It take, like they said, for real, it takes a village to raise a child. If the neighbor down the street see your kid in the street and not supposed to be in the street, basically that neighbor gonna say something, or that neighbor is gonna, not tell that kid any wrong or bring that kid back home. Nowadays you cannot say nothing to people kids. But me personally, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not like that. If you see my son doing something wrong, if it's you an adult, I don't care to
That was
correct
gonna be my
him.
next question. Would you want somebody to say something to your kid? Because honestly, it's just not trustworthy. Some people just take it too far. I look at those
Yeah.
stories. Do y'all see those stories where like, oh, the boyfriend of the mother, and I'm speaking from a father's perspective, the boyfriend of the mother beat her son to death or kid to death, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, now
Yeah,
that you brought that up,
yeah.
how do you go about, since you are not with your son's mom, so how do you go about dating? Like, how do you know when you want to introduce someone to your son and have them in his life? Like, how do you go about dating? We didn't even think about you.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm grown. You know what I'm saying? That like my son is gonna see things, and now and that, especially since he older. But when I was younger, I always did like long term relationships, so it wasn't like different women in and out. Uh, he had a solid foundation of one woman, and then like a woman that I dated that he seen here and there, but not like just around him trying to play mommy. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's that.
When you do find the person that you want to be with and introduce and to be his bonus mom, like, how do you want them to play a part in his life? Like, do you want, because some people's parents don't want the new spouse telling their child anything.
Mhm,
Don't help me raise. I got this.
mhm.
Or do you want the type where it's like, no, like, steer him right. Like, I trust you enough to bring in a part of this family, but like, how do you want that person to be involved? Because some people like, nah, I won't say nothing because that's not my kid. Da 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 da. Like,
You know, Josh, that's tricky because like I said, I dated a girl for a long time, and she was there about 6 years. And she had did something one time, like took him on somewhere without telling me, and I just like flipped. Like you like that's not your kid. I said this to her, like that's not your kid. You don't do anything
mm,
without the. And she felt so hurt. I felt justified by what I
that
said.
is a hurtful statement.
Yeah, it's like how dare you? Because she has helped and been there for him and watched him, and but it's just tricky. Like you gotta you gotta do it right, I guess, and there's no right or wrong, honestly. And dating is so crazy these days. Like y'all know with the balance, it's hard to like focus on dating. Like give a person your all while having a kid. Like it's not gonna happen. I'm sorry.
Cause you like my son first, and then I still gotta work. Then I gotta look
Still
at you.
got to work, and then you want me to make time for you? Really? No.
Well, this was such a great episode. I really enjoyed you, Orange. Thank you. Like, do you have
No,
any
thank you.
advice about to fathers, mainly fathers, or parents, period? Like any advice, especially raising young adults? Cause that's what you have. You have a young adult. Like, do you have any advice or anything you want to add?
My advice is just be truthful to them, love them, be understanding. Try to provide that open conversation where they feel like they could come to you. I think like the worst feeling is like to have a kid that feel like they can't trust their parent or like you too.
Mm.
I went through that state too. I think I was like too hard on my son at one point, and it's really no blueprint for it. It really is. There's no right way to like be a parent. There's a wrong way. But yeah, so and honestly, my advice, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm big on like benefit. I have cut friends off that's not like and it, like
Taking
for
care of their responsibility.
with and like not taking care of their responsibility because it's like, dude, I can't be around you and show my son like, hey, you think this cool and it's not cool. So yeah.
That was dope. I understand.
But I definitely want to give y'all flowers. I had asked you. I had forgot that it was like this style. I thought it was in person. That's why I asked you how many guests it was because I was gonna get y'all flowers because I wanted to.
Oh,
This is good what y'all doing. Bringing that spotlight on like moms and then including fathers not being biased as well. So definitely
oh.
that and putting this in the atmosphere.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for being thoughtful and thinking about us. Yeah, we're not in person yet. We may have some new changes going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, this week, we just got like a bomb dropped on us. So yeah, we trying to figure out some our new changes now within this next month.
It's always funny seeing y'all like people that I know like become parents. Like I knew them way before they was parents. I'm like, this is crazy. You know?
Yeah,
Like,
I've
dang, you
known Orange since my freshman year of college.
Yeah.
oh wow. Dang, what I was at?
Yeah. What were you? You went to West
So,
right, Diamond?
Yeah, but I came in 20s. When did I come in?
I don't know. I didn't meet you at
March.
Western.
Yeah, I didn't meet Jazz at Western. I didn't know Jazz went to Western until after I graduated. I graduated so came in 2016.
Oh, I was.
Graduated 2020, and then graduated with my master's 23 last year. So
Okay,
yeah,
that's what's up. Congrats on that. I was
thank
way
you.
gone.
Yeah, wait. And in
Y'all be
2016, it wasn't busting like it
You
was
know how
busting.
we had it.
Diamond, if you could have been there when we was there, I know you feel it was bomb when you was there.
We threw the
It
best.
was. I had a ball. I had a ball.
We threw the best parties,
Yeah,
concerts. We had
just think of your bomb times 100 around our age
yeah.
when we was there.
Oh wow, yeah, I should have been in there with y'all. But thanks again, Orange, for joining us.
Yeah,
Hopefully, we have you back in a future episode. Hopefully, we're gonna speak it into existence and be in person because
there
Yes,
for
I'm gonna
y'all.
get up out of my bed, yeah.
yes. Oh yeah, he got to do Mom of the Week, Diamond.
Oh, go. So, did Jazz explain it to you? You explained it to
Uh
him?
No,
I just remembered.
Okay, so we're gonna have you pick a mom of the week. It could be anybody you want. Just shout out a mom, and we're basically going to shout her out on our social media platform and
my
on here. So once you shout out,
mom of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. I mean, I would feel like bad if I didn't give y'all mom of the week.
No, 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 not us, not us, not us.
No,
yeah, we
I knew
had
he was going that way.
already. So try to pick somebody else because we had it already.
But we appreciate you. But
uh,
Hey,
don't feel bad.
mom of the week. Wow. I'm trying to think of any other friends that have kids.
They gonna be listening like you wasn't thinking to me.
Right, right.
You like, dang, well, this was on the spot, so I couldn't think.
right?
Yeah,
We supposed to tell you beforehand. That way you could have thought
Yeah, I
on.
apologize. That was
yeah.
my bad.
Um, yeah, that's kind of hard.
It's
But
okay. We gonna get it. We'll still shout it. You think about it, and we'll get it via text, and we'll still shout it out.
Right, we'll shout it out on our social media via once you send it to Jazz through text.
yeah, no problem.
All right, cool. You only get one night to think about it. It ain't that hard.
I know,
Or that,
I know. I would probably say this girl named Mariah Carter. This is one of my close friends that went to Western, and she helped me out a lot. Now she have her own kids. She had two kids. She done really well for herself. So her name like Mariah Carter. We call it.
Okay.
okay, cool. Shout out Mariah. Shout you
Yes.
out, girl.
Yes. We
Okay,
gonna
so
get info.
yeah, so we'll get it. So anything else? Anybody else want to make a closing remark before I close
N-
out?
No, just thank you, Orange. You can go ahead.
Yes, thank you. So thanks again for listening to another episode. Please, please, please make sure you subscribe to our podcast. We appreciate everyone for tuning in, for listening, and we hope that you love what you are listening to. Also leave us a review. It only takes a few minutes on whatever platform you are listening to us on. And also, please make sure you follow us on every social media platform. We are on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter at New Age Mamas. And we have so much more in store for you guys. And that's a wrap. Bye.